Live, Labour hails big wins in England as Sunak holds on to Tees Valley victory. Yeah, it's not going to be particularly amusing, this video, but I felt it would be remiss of me not to cover the local elections for a wee bit. I'll tell you one thing I didn't see coming. I didn't believe Middlesbrough would ever be at the centre of a BBC news story, but they're loving the fact that Ben Houchin won in the Tees Valley. We've never wanted to do things by the book in the borough. Always hated the Tories until everybody hates the Tories. Now we like them. Yeah, very northern. Freud famously said you couldn't do psychoanalysis on the Irish. He clearly never went to the northeast of England either, because you'd have to come to the exact same conclusion. But anyway, yes, Ben Houchin won in the borough because Ben Houchin has actually worked hard, pounded the pavement, brought some investment to the area, built up the airport. He's actually done some work. The last mayor, who I'm a big fan of, Andy Preston, follows me on Twitter. Very approachable bloke. I've had a few one-to-ones with him on there. He did a good job as well. He was an independent. Ultimately, I feel like this is where it needs to go. The sort of party whips needs to go away, and people have to judge individual politicians on their merits, or because they're politicians and most of them are sexual deviant scum, corruption personified, thieving deviants, whatever you want to call the scum that run the world these days. Some of them appear to have some merit, a tiny fraction of them, and those ones should get rewarded as ever more people turn their backs on the big party machinery. Anyway, out of morbid curiosity, let's have a quick look at the results, shall we? Labour have won key councils and regional mayors in England. The Conservatives lost 6 and more than 400 councillors. Rishi Sunak said losses were disappointing, but mayoral contests like Tees Valley were a key battleground. And Labour made gains, obviously. Sir Keir Starmer said the results sent a message to Rishi Sunak and called on the Prime Minister to make way. One comical aspect of it is that some of the areas with very, very large majorities of people who regularly attend Alan's world-famous snack bar, Labour haven't won them because of their stance on the gift that keeps on giving. The Israel versus Palestine problem. So they've lost them, obviously because Alan's lads are not willing to support someone who will go on the television and say, maybe we shouldn't wipe an entire race of people off the face of the earth. Maybe that's a good idea. Controversial, I know. Controversial to point out the obvious, that one group absolutely despises the 4B2s more than anybody else in the whole country. But that's just the way it is, and it's a proven fact. And if anybody who's woke and therefore has a head full of fresh air and horse shit wants to dispute it, well, go and read the polls. If there's one thing that unites them all across the globe, it's a certain distaste of the chaps in small hats. Let's just leave it at that. And there's the final numbers. No surprise there. No surprise there. Although Keir was in Northallerton, so hopefully he gets his upcaps pinched. One high point of the day for me. And to sum up, none of this is a surprise, right? Like, I like to feel being a normal bloke with my finger on the pulse with normal people. For about 2 years, we've been saying, final nail in the coffin, even though I'm lean conservative on my personal life, I'll never ever vote Conservative again. And I think majority of people that watch this channel, and as I've been saying for several years now, the only people that held on with the Conservatives were the proper normies that don't really use any alternative media. They just sort of read the BBC casually. They're the only people hanging out with the Conservatives. So the long-term plan is still the same. It's pray that you make it through the next 4 years and you're actually allowed to vote in the end of it. Because the irony is, most people lean Conservative, most people in England as a whole want to get tough on crime and tough on immigration. And not doing those two things is what's destroyed the wet woke Tories. The downside is, the chattering classes are going to make this out, that everybody rejects everything about far-right Conservatives, right? Because they are living in La La Land. And they think people have abandoned the Conservatives because they're all left-wing all of a sudden. They're embracing wokeness and DEI bollocks, and they aren't. They definitely aren't. They abandoned the Conservative because they're not right-wing and they're not conservative and they don't have border control and they're not tough on crime and they don't conserve anything. They conserve as well as napalm does. That's why nobody's voted for the Conservatives, and that's why Labour are going to win the general election by an absolute landslide. You've just got to hold your nose. As I said, prepare as best you can, stock up, tool up, and batten down the hatches, because it's going to get much, much worse before it gets better. I don't even know if we're going to be able to survive 4 years of Labour. I think it may well cause the total collapse of the United Kingdom as we know it. Certainly economically, but every aspect of it. Like roaming gangs wandering the streets, full-blown sectarian violence, the lot. Because you think it's bad now? How's 2025 going to get better? They are going to keep importing hundreds of thousands, so millions of unvetted fighting age men. They're not going to deport anyone. Crime is going to continue to be obsessed with policing your tweets and not gripping the burglars that have just broken in through your granny's kitchen window and shit on the ventricle floor. That's the way it's going. So how do you think 2025 or 2026 or 2027 is going to get better? Every metric is going to get worse. So batten down the hatches, lads. It's all fun and games till someone comes at your granny with a meat cleaver. All right? Look up whatever weapons are legal and whatever high-calorie rations you can buy over there. Stick them in your garage and buy some very, very thick doors and bar your windows. That's the only advice I can give you. And, keep laughing, because it's all you can do while the world burns around you. Let me know what you think. If you think I'm being dramatic and you don't think there's going to be foreign criminal men awash on the streets of England in 2027, please let me know why or where you are pulling these delusions from, because I just can't see it. Change my mind. Do your best. All right? Thanks for watching. See you all very soon. I'll do a stream tomorrow, but I have to pick my missus up in downtown Santa Barbara. So I think that's at 11:30. So I think I'll be streaming about 9:30. Yeah, something like that. So probably a bit early, about 6 o'clock your time, 5:30, something like that. We'll play it by ear. All right? Be there or be square. See you very soon. Toodle pip. Cheers.